Good. Well, let's get started. I guess first off, Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. And let's just get right into it. My name is Craig Peterman, volunteer at BadgerBots, PDP for the FLL program in the state of Wisconsin. And we have Brian and Brian with us, our head judge advisors, and Jay Church. Allison, our other head referee, is not going to be joining us, I don't believe. So, but I'm sure Jay can handle the questions by himself, maybe.
I'm doing my
All
best.
right. Anyway, we are recording this, as you all know, and it will be posted up on our YouTube channel, shortly after the meeting. Within give Jay 24
Yeah,
hours
it'll
to
it'll go
48
tonight.
hours to
It'll be
put
up
up.
tonight. Yep.
All right, very good. So, just to real quickly address the elephant in the room, we are not going to talk about the press releases that came out today and the impending changes to the FLL program. We're not going to discuss those tonight because, quite simply, I don't have any answers. I have my first conference call with First tomorrow, where hopefully they will shed some light on what's going to happen, how this is actually going to go down, what the changes are, so on and so forth. So let's get through champs, and then I promise we will start addressing all the questions and issues once champs is over. As you saw in today's newsletter, or hopefully saw, we added 3 links in there with the press releases, frequently asked questions, so on and so forth. So there's going to be a lot more information coming, that's for sure. As I alluded to earlier, there are a lot more questions than answers. So that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. So um, tonight's discussion is all about the championship, which is this coming Sunday. I'm assuming most of the coaches here on the call, if not all of them, will be participating. Certainly good luck. Hopefully you're all keeping your sanity together with your teams and working towards, putting forth your best effort on Sunday. So you've gotten a lot of emails from me. There's still a few more coming, maybe two, maybe three. I like to do it one a day if you haven't figured out, or somewhere in that range. Keep it simple, manageable, and then you can always go back to that specific email if you have to remember or find some nugget of information. So really, Champs is just another tournament, so to speak. A few more bells and whistles, and certainly we have our uh, top ranked teams according to the champions rankings participating and competing. I'm not going to go through all the emails that we sent out, but just some things that you should also be thinking about and working on as Sunday approaches. The post tournament opportunities, we have 9 of them. It was all sent out in an email, as you all should know. We need to work through that process relatively quickly because those event directors, they have deadlines on when they need me to make the nominations. And so therefore we need to meet that deadline so we can take our spots. It's not imminent. It's not like we have to do it right away, the next day, so on and so forth. But we have to get through the whole process within about 3, 4 weeks to make sure that we meet all the deadlines. Last year, because teams were already prepared, we got through it in, I think, a week and a half. So that was great. Made it easy for everybody. And for those of you that read the process, the top ranked team according to champions ranking will get their choice. It will go down to the second, third, fourth, all the way through until we fill all 9 spots. So where you land in that ranking is important because that will give you your placement as far as the opportunities you get to choose to go to. 9 opportunities, 30 teams, that comes to 30%. That's a pretty high number. So hopefully all the teams are at least talking about it and thinking about it. We would like the top 2 teams to go to Houston, Texas for the first championship. However, due to schedules or other particular reasons, it is not a requirement. But that is one that we need to submit relatively quickly So at least have that discussion with your teams. If we win or come in second place, are we going to go to Houston? If I can get that solidified at champs and or the next day, that would get us on the right foot going forward. All right. Any questions about the postseason events from the coaches on the call? All right. As I also alluded to, there were some blanks in there, like how much a couple of the tournaments are. I still don't know, but I will try to get that before Sunday. And the New Jersey last year was 700. All the other events seem to be $2,000, and that's just the team entry fee. So obviously, there's travel costs, food costs, lodging, so on and so forth. So all those wonderful things to consider. And then we will have a Zoom call for those teams that decide to travel. And we can talk about fundraising strategies, the coaches that have traveled before. They've been wonderful sharing their experiences and guidance. So we'll get that started after champs and all the opportunities have been assigned. All right. So moving on then to the actual event, the schedule went out today. So it's normal day, so to speak. Doors will open at 7:30. It's at Sun Prairie West. It's a relatively new high school, opened in 2022. So what that means is it's a really nice high school and a lot of amenities and they have more gyms than I think any high school I've ever been to. We only are going to be occupying two of them. One will be for the pits, and then the other one will be for the competition tables. And they are close to each other. Uh, Simple hallway, left turn, so on and so forth. So it should be pretty straightforward. They have a wonderful commons area, which we will be using because they have classrooms on the exterior. That will be for practice rooms as well as the quiet room. And then the judging rooms for presentations will be down a longer hallway where we will have cuers escorting the teams. Um, so let's see what else. There's plenty of parking, but I will give you a little heads up. It's kind of weird how they have the parking. They have two different ways of getting into the school. Looks like you're about to crash, but somehow they make it work. So just be a little bit careful when you're there, dropping off kids, and certainly bringing all your equipment and so on and so forth, presentation materials. So shouldn't be that big of a deal, but just want to give you a little warning. Apparently, they do have issue when the high school kids are driving around. So anyway, we'll assume that we have more prudent drivers. Um, so let's see what else. The doors will open at 7:30. The actual events, as you saw from today's schedule, start a little bit later than usual. They'll be at 9 o'clock. We are going to have a coaches meeting at about 8:10. I'm going to ask Jay and Allison to keep it relatively short. This is your third time going through this. The rules have not changed. Please confirm that, Jay.
No changes to the rules.
There we go. So there really shouldn't be anything new going on at the coaches meeting at the competition table. So that will give you time to get back with your teams or scout out the areas, work on the practice tables, whatever you need to do. With regards to the practice presentation rooms, we do have two dedicated, and what I've decided is I'm going to assign times to teams so that they have a spot before their actual presentation. So that will be one of my emails coming out this week. All relatively convenient. If you need more time for your presentation, there are plenty of spaces around in the commons area. That's probably gonna be kind of crowded, but as when you're there, you'll see there's stairs that will take you up to another level where there's a lot of quiet spaces and nobody else should be there. So that would be a good way to stay within the area that we've been given and get some privacy. But otherwise, everybody will get 20 or probably 20 minutes in the private presentation rooms. Um, you saw from the schedule today and from the emails, we are going to have 8 tables and every team gets five official runs. As I mentioned earlier in the email chains, there is no practice run. Everything counts. So again, this is the third event for all the teams. Felt it was better to give you another chance at getting that high score as opposed to a practice run, which you've kind of already had nine of them, if you will. So good luck on all five of your runs, and the highest score will still remain your score for the Robot Performance Award. All right. Let's see, other logistics. There will be concessions that is going to be run by the Sun Prairie Robotics Club. My understanding is that they're primarily going to have Rocky Rococo. I've asked them to bring some vegetarian options, as well as open up something for some basic breakfast stuff. So hopefully they will come through on that request. I will find out later on. Obviously, we are guests of theirs. They're giving us the venue for free. So it'd be nice to support them because they're helping us out. And they're a relatively new FRC program as well. I want to say 2 years. So they're building up just like a lot of other programs. Um, all right, let's see. Other than that, we've got the Alliance Challenge. So that will be after the last robot match. So what I think we typically request is all teams be in the gym, in the competition gym, uh, right when the last two regular official matches occur. That way, we're ready to move into the Alliance Challenge right away. So I'll let Jay talk about that in a minute, but just remember the Alliance Challenge is just a fun exercise, a way to, meet another team, to strategize, do things a little bit differently. And also the judges do need extra time at champs because there's a lot of discussions that need to happen in order to get comfortable with how everything shook out, which awards are given, and of course, then the nine spots that are offered for postseason opportunities. There's a lot to talk about. So we will go through it one at a time, and then this is a great way, the Alliance Challenge, a great way for teams to stay engaged. And again, the feedback we've had over the years has been universally positive. So why not keep doing it? A little nugget there. It's ironic. One little note about today's press release. They did say there's a, kind of an alliance part of the program. So it will be interesting to see how that all shakes out. At least some of our teams have already participated in an alliance style type game format. So we'll see how that turns out. All right.
Greg, there's some questions in the chat as well.
Yep. All right. Let me pause for questions.
Okay, the first one, are there stairs between the pits and the judging rooms?
Stairs between the pits and the judging rooms? No.
Okay. And we're going to have Craig answer these because while Brian and I are heading the judging, we haven't been to the facility. So we're not aware of some of these things. Can you explain how the practice tables will work and how many slots can you sign up for?
Do you want to get into
practice tables or the practice rooms?
It said practice tables.
Okay, the practice tables, there will be, well, we're using all the competition tables. Well, chances are there's going to be 8 practice tables. And thank you for asking that question because we do things a little bit differently at Champs. We haven't had issues in the last 3 years, but what will be coming in email and then will also be in your registration package, every team will get 3 passes, A, B, C. And you take your pass over to the pits. If you want to take a table, and you will give the pit manager, or I should say the practice table manager, you can choose. If you want to give him your A pass, you give him the A pass. The A means that you get first priority and you go to the next available table. The B pass just means if there's somebody who has an A pass, they get served before you. But then once all the A passes are gone, the B pass gets their turn. Now, because we're going to have 8 tables, practice tables, and we're going to have 8 tables used during the competition. 4 teams are going to be going almost at all times. There's very little congestion on the practice tables. So the most congested time is during lunch, which is 12 to 1. That's built into the schedule. Some teams will start their lunch earlier just because of the way the schedule shakes out. But that's about the only time there's congestion on the practice tables, if the last 2 years are any indication. So look for an email that I will be sending, well, in the next couple days, that will explain that process, probably better than what I just did, but you will be getting passes to get to the practice tables. And of course, if the practice tables are wide open, you don't have to use your pass at all. Just go take a table or talk to the practice table manager, take a table. The risk there is you might get booted off if somebody comes in with an A pass.
Or any
All
pass at
right.
that point, right? So if you're there
What's
without a
that?
pass, you can get booted by any team with a pass.
Any team with a
Yeah, yeah,
pass can boot you off.
yep,
I won't say it's never happened, but again, it's
yeah.
very rare. Everybody has been very professional about it the last 3 years. So, um, at least as far as I know, but it seems to have worked in the past. All right. Were there
Okay.
any other questions?
Next question: are the tables in the judging rooms movable?
Yes. So, being a relatively new high school, the classrooms are actually, I mean, a little different from the traditional classroom, which is, desks or tables lined up in, some sort of symmetrical format. These are kind of all over the place, and some of them have couches and lounge chairs and so on and so forth. So, it'll be a little different, but they do have standard tables, and every team will get one of those tables for their presentation. We're going to move all the, fluffy furniture out of the way so that it's a more, classroom judge type feel that we've had at all of our previous events. So we have a way that we like to have it. So, the kids can be seen directly by the judges and not have parents, waving or potentially interfering in certain ways. So, yes, every team will have a typical table to put their trifolds on. Um, there was one question in the somewhere along the way. I can't remember if it was email or Slack. Yes, there is electricity. There are outlets, but there's no guarantee that they're going to be conveniently located for anybody to plug anything in. So I would suggest that you come with your own power, make sure it's backed up. Do not rely on the electricity outlets being available for the presentation. That would be an unfortunate problem if it wasn't readily available for your team.
Okay. The next question is for the judging session. Would that immediately be after our scheduled presentation practice, just like in Maguanago?
Will it be immediately after? That probably not going to be the case. I haven't made the schedule yet, so I'm not entirely sure.
We only had two
But since
practice
we
rooms.
only had, what's that?
You only have two practice rooms, is that right?
Right. We only have 2 practice rooms. So, yeah, I mean, 2 teams might be directly before, and then the other ones will be 20 minutes before, and the other one will be 40 minutes before. Still got to figure that logistics out. Well, I'm just going to leave it there for now.
Okay. The next one in the chat, and Brian and I can handle this one, is in the presentation, is the team allowed to leave a one-page handout with the judges? And the answer to that is no, you can't leave anything with the judges. I mean, you can leave a pen or something like that, that's fine, but, or they like candy, they're good with candy. Um, but you can't leave anything behind with them to consult from a judging perspective. Can you hand them one during the presentation and take it when you leave? Yes, you can. But kind of what we tell the judges is, they're working with the kids. Okay, they're not sitting there reading things. So if you put something there for them to look at, you probably want to reference it and point out what you want them to know about it. Because the reality is, they're thinking the next question, they're listening to the kids, they're taking notes, they're not really sitting there reading. Brian, anything
Uh,
to add to that?
yeah, I would say the same thing goes to their presentation boards. They bring them into the room.
Good point.
Make sure you're telling your students to reference the boards and point out to that for the judges. That's also an aid for the students to remember to talk about items.
Yep. And a lot of those boards we can't necessarily read anyways as a judge. You're sitting there and sometimes the kids move the table pretty far back and you can't really read it. So having them point to it, kind of point out the data is helpful. So if you bring things like that, use it. Craig said there's power. That's great. Any technology you use is at your own risk. We're not saying don't use it, but the kids have to bring
Have a
it in.
backup plan.
Kids set it up. If there's a problem, they're going to have to work through it or do a workaround. So kind of practice that with the kids and make sure that they're ready to go. And because if you have a tech problem, you don't get more time.
I've shared it on a previous call, but there was a team that I happened to be judging for, and they had this nice presentation on a laptop, and then the screensaver, clicked on, and that led to probably a full minute of fumbling around and getting their presentation back. So again, the advice is make sure you practice every possible element of the presentation, and Murphy's law always holds. Any other questions in the chat?
That's the questions from the chat.
Okay. Um,
Oh,
well,
one just came in.
yeah.
So the one that just came in, on the flow of the judging, will there be any time allowed to switch to set up for robot presentation? For that one, if you look at it was one of the regionals and another at sectionals. So the time to switch from presentation or questions and answers from Innovation Project. Oh, thank you, Brian. So if you look at, they got their 5 minutes for Innovation Project, and then there's 5 minutes for questions and answers. There is no time in there for the transfer over to robot design. So that's why a lot of the rooms will have timers, and the timers will keep the judges on track. Because as judges, we tend to we ask a lot of questions. We really like that interaction, but they'll let us know when it's time to move on. And there'll be times, we'll actually let the team know, okay, it's time to move on to your robot presentation. That time is in that 5 minutes. There's no separate time. They don't get 1 minute or 2 minutes to do that. So again, like Brian was saying earlier, have your teams practice that, because that can really add to that transition. Can take a little bit of time sometimes.
Yeah, I've had teams take a minute or two on that one, and you're not getting to share much information then. You do have this 1 to 2 minutes. You can be setting up while the welcome happens. So the kids can be setting up. The judges will start introducing themselves, verify team name, things like that. That's all fine. They can be setting up during that. That's not a problem. It's not an insult to the judges. But as Brian said, there's no point in here where you get a break to do that reset. So you have to go right from one thing to the other.
Just to reiterate, which is hopefully we've been doing it all season, the 30 minutes starts when the kids come in the room. You've all been through it twice already this season. The adults, spectators, and coaches go in first. 30 minutes starts when the kids come in. So if it takes them 15 minutes to set up, well, obviously I hope it doesn't, but that's an uncomfortable 15 minutes. But nonetheless, That's their time. So we hope that they use it wisely. Obviously, the 30-minute, you know, presentation guideline is there to keep us on track, but it's the kids' time. So hopefully they use it wisely.
Okay, so another one just came in. Are parents allowed in the judging room? Yes, we do encourage, family members, parents, siblings. Um, Keep in mind, siblings too, they need to be quiet. Same thing with parents. Will usually 1 to 2 minutes before the team is scheduled to start, ask the spectators to come in. Keep in mind, coaches remind the parents, um, this is for the students, so please do not have parents trying to coach or um, guide the students. So, but no, we do encourage parents and spectators. Just make sure that they're with the team when they go down the hallway to get cued. The last thing we want is grandma or grandpa didn't make it down there because once the doors close, we don't allow anybody else in. So we want to make sure everybody's there ready to go before the actual team walks into the room.
Kids go in, the doors get closed, and it doesn't open until they're done.
We'll add that, well, fortunately, we haven't had too many issues related to that, or just audience members being in the presentation rooms. I will share with you there are other regions that do not allow parents and audience members, family members into the room. At the moment, we have no intentions of going that route. We think there's value in having the family there and witnessing and sharing the great stuff the kids did.
The kids put a
Fortunately, like I
lot of
said,
work into this. Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be that family that ruins it for everybody else, please.
There are no more in the chat at this point.
All right. Let's see. So Jay, you want to jump on the Alliance Challenge?
Sure. Just make sure. I think we went over everything from the main schedule. Like Craig said, you'll get 5 rounds. I'm not sure if we're going to set up additional practice tables for an alliance group. We did that 1 year. Quite honestly, it'll probably depend on how much time we have to set up in the room we have to set up. We do have extra tables on the truck or on the trailers if we're able to get those. So there might be, a couple tables set aside for alliance teams. We'll try to do that. I'm not going to guarantee that. Just one more miscellaneous thing. We do have someone that's going to help with the AV, I think. Craig, have you got confirmation? Okay. So my intent is that we're going to live stream if the Wi-Fi holds up for us. The kid that's helping us, Henry, I think his name is. I apologize, Henry, if you're watching this and that's not your name. He's very good, perfectly technical enough to live stream for us. So that is the intent. We'll get you a QR code for that. Okay. As Craig kind of alluded to, we don't really need to go through all the game schedule. It's the same. Basically, you're just getting one more match. Your practice, the old practice match is converted to a regular round, and you one extra round. So everything else holds the same. No rule changes. Just to reiterate, for teams that went through 1 or 2 of the tournaments, we had questions about the silo. You do have to do the silo. Points will not be awarded for the silo just by touching the silo. You have to actually do the mission. So we'll get you guys a chance to ask questions here when we're done. So Alliance Challenge. When we're done, I think the schedule is set for us to be done about 3:20, 3:30 is the last match. So the way we have it scheduled, what we're going to do is the teams that are on the last match, they're just going to stay on that board. Okay, so if you're on red A for your last match, you'll stay on that board for the last competition, official competition round. That's all done and scored. Tournament's over. Okay, so now for Alliance Challenge, we'll ask you guys to stay on that board. We'll send your alliance partner over to you. And again, as Craig said, it's going to be helpful if everybody comes to the competition area and stays there. This is going to go fast. It's kind of chaotic. It's kind of crazy. For those of you who have seen it before, it gets a little nuts. Okay, so we'll have your partners join you. Each team, each alliance team, will get 2 rounds on the same table for the first set of elimination group. So you'll get every team will at least to get 2 rounds in the alliance challenge. What happens after that is the top 8 scoring alliances will move on to the next round, and then the top 4 next round. It's a head-to-head at that point until we get to the end. We hope to be done within an hour. So I think that is all. There are some trophies for that. I've seen the trophies. Super cool.
Yep, super cool.
Are these the same physical tables that were Oak Creek sectional? All the tables are the same tables from all of their tournaments except for Lakeshore and
County.
Green Bay. So all the tables, there's 2 trailers. We're bringing both trailers. So if you've been on any of the tournaments, well, everybody's been on these tables because even Lakeshore and Green Bay came through the sectional. So
They were at Oak Creek, or a lot of them were. Yes.
Yeah. So those same competition tables are half of the competition tables
Yep.
that will be at state.
The
We're running
competition.
4 pairs instead of 2 pairs.
Oh, that's a good question, Sandy. The alliance pairs already exist. I don't know if we sent them out or not. Did we send this? Okay, so alliance
Last
teams,
week.
you should have your alliance teams. They were a simple sort for us. Nobody paired anybody with anybody. We just did a simple top to bottom sort, reversed, paired you guys up, so nobody selected alliance mates. Sorry, we sorted by the sectional high score. So if you want to meet up with your alliance partner, you can jump on the Slack. There's a channel there for alliance meetup. Feel free to reach out and see if you can find your partner there. We can't give you guys other team information, but that is a place where you guys can talk amongst yourselves and try to find your partners. Okay, where was I? I think that's it. I think that's all the.
So
I don't remember if there's anything I
then,
missed here, but I think that's it.
following the Alliance Challenge, we will tear down the competition tables, or at least move them out of the way, depending on where the judges are at, and proceed then to the awards ceremony, which will be in the competition gym area.
Just one quick thing. So our plan at the moment for that, and I don't know if we talked to you about this or not, Craig. We may just be setting, when we do setup, we may set the tables back an additional 10 or 12 feet. So that way, if the judges are done quick, right, they won't have to wait for us to move anything. You can just line up right in front. So
We try and be as efficient as possible
Yes, sir.
for everybody involved. All right, so let's open it up to any other questions.
I guess I'd like to
For
make
anybody.
a comment before we get started.
Of course.
We're talking about the Alliance Challenge. Again, reiterating that is not part of the judging and the awards. So the awards will be off doing the deliberation for those awards while that is going on. Kind of think of it as just a fun distraction while the judges are busy doing their work. And remember, there's 5 robot matches. It's the top score of top score across all 5 matches. Okay, so instead of 3, it's across 5. So those are, just want to make sure people are clear on that.
Yep, good point. And I would anticipate some more ties as well, more than what we usually have, because we now have 5 rounds that are scored, that the top scores are pulled from. So
Robot games.
Okay. Well, one of you want to run through the tie-breaking process as far as the robot table is concerned?
Oh, yeah, I guess that would be me. That's Brian. You want to do it? No.
I know part of it at least.
So same process as always. So specifically for robot games, it goes by the top score of all your rounds. So it doesn't matter if it's your first round or your 5th round. It goes by the top score. And if there's a tie for that top score, it'll move on to the second highest between those two, and then the third highest and fourth highest until we have a winner. If you guys happen to tie all five, we'll run another round for those two. But it's not. We've had a tie
That's for
first and
Alliance
second
period.
place before, but
But that's for Alliance period.
yeah, just. Did you say for Alliance? No.
Yeah, that's just for Alliance period.
No, I'm talking about specifically for
That's-
the champion or for the tournament. If it goes by the high score and then the second high
Yes.
score and the third high score.
Yeah. Okay.
So Alliance, yeah, like Brian said, totally different. Not to confuse anyone. We'll take care of Alliance as we get to it. That's not as structured as our real tournament. So.
Okay. And then another question came in the chat. At the end of the championship, will a team overall ranking be shared for all 30 teams? You'll know the robot rankings. You will not know the rankings of all 30 teams from an overall perspective. The top 9 teams will, in essence, be known because of the order in which they're picking the advancement to the next event. But beyond that, we don't publish that.
So, Brian, the reason for my question is just because we got burned in the past a little bit by this is when should we be, let's just say we're number 13 because there's 9 bids. And I know that how it's said is that if, it goes to the first one and then if they say they can't go, it goes to the second one and so on and so forth. So if we're ranked number 28, I'm not super worried about it. But if we're ranked number 13, that's where I'm just trying to ascertain that. I think, Craig, you mentioned pretty quick, you're anticipating a 2-week turnaround to get all those bids filled, but just wanted to understand a little bit more there so we're not breaking stuff down that we shouldn't be.
Sure. And what I would suggest is go with the mindset that you're not going to tear it all down. But if you and your team is anxious to do so, if you want to come ask me, I won't give the actual ranking, but I will tell you whether or not you're potentially in line or not.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right. Anything else? All right. Awesome. We will have a swag t-shirt vendor coming. Still figuring out the final touches on that process, but they will be, Wisconsin for Wisconsin Challenge Championship. All the teams will be listed on the back, and they will charge you an arm and a leg for a t-shirt, but that's up to you and your families on whether or not it's worth it. So, we just like to make that available just in case. What else? Concessions I mentioned. We will have a quiet room. No, I think I think I got it all. Obviously, if you have any questions, you all know my email, or at least you should know it by now. FLLteams@badgerbots.org. So feel free to email me about anything. I will do my best to answer your question.
Charging stations, question?
Charging stations, like specific cords sticking out of the wall, or just
Well, I
looking
think
for
they're
outlets?
asking if there'll be spots for them to charge their robot
Or laptop.
or laptops. Yeah.
So what I was thinking of having several surge protectors in the pits where people can line their equipment up if they wanted to charge it there. Otherwise, there are outlets throughout the entire school, so it shouldn't be that difficult to find power. But we will try and make something available in the pits.
Yeah, please don't run extension cords across the aisles.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen people try to
absolutely
do that.
That's a good
Please
point.
don't do that.
Do not bring extension cords. If we walk through there and see them in the pits, we're taking them out. So, good point, Brian.
I want you to mention
It is
it because I've seen
important.
it.
right? Because I mean, you've got 5 robot runs. We got the Alliance Challenge.
Yep.
You might be running your robot during your presentation, so that might be the most usage that your robots, ever had in a short period in an 8-hour day. So maybe I'm wrong, but it's certainly going to be a
Probably
lot
in
of power
practice.
needed.
How strict are the
Probably in
5 minute?
practices.
So how strict are the 5 minute innovation and 5 minute presentation sessions if the team go over by a few seconds, etc.?
So
Brian,
the
you
answer to
want to take it?
that is, I'm sorry?
I was just saying, one of the Brians, you want to take it?
Yep. So yeah, basically the guidance is at the 5 minute mark, tell the judges to let the team finish up like the middle of the thought they're in or the bit they're in, and then transition them over. And so at that point, we would interrupt them. So if you're like 2 seconds over, that's probably not going to be a problem. But if that starts to go on beyond that, they would be saying, "Hey, sorry, but we now need to move over into the Q&A."
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll throw one more thing in there too, just because we've had some issues before. So when we're at the competition tables, we'd like to have the teams up there as well as maybe just 2 coaches. If parents or other spectators want to watch, please don't stand in the area where all the teams are. Probably you should be over by the bleachers. I haven't seen the layout of the area there, but keep in mind we have 8 tables set up there. So hypothetically, we have 8 teams in and out. 80 kids coming in, 80, at any given time. So it's going to get pretty tight up there. If you guys could try to keep it to just the 2 coaches, parents can go to the stands. We will have our big screen set up. The big, you guys have seen them this year probably. So we'll have the big one set up. You guys will be able to see the matches, but we probably will be more diligent about asking you guys to not have your whole entourage in the gaming area. I think there is someone there taking pictures, right? I think I saw. So there'll be a photographer there taking pictures.
Yep.
Is there a map of the judging rooms?
Is there a
You'll
map?
be queued to
No.
the judging rooms.
Because of the environment that we happen to live in our country, we do not get maps of high schools or grade schools anymore.
That's a good point. One thing I did not mention, I'm not sure if Craig did. So what we would like you guys to be in the competition area 10 minutes before your start time on your schedule. So for instance, if you have a match at 10 o'clock, we would like you guys in the competition area at 9:50. We'll try to bring you guys to the competition tables at 9:55. That way we can get through your inspection, get through checking any models that you guys want to check, including the silo, of course. Make sure you're ready to go, and we try to start on time, and we're pretty good about starting on time. So
But Craig, you said they're going to get queued to judging.
Correct.
Okay,
There will
so
be a
slightly different
queuing
process for
area
judging.
in the pits, and then the teams will be escorted from the pits to the judging room. Yes. So get there, get into the queuing line in the pits at least 10 minutes before your presentation, unless you happen to be in the practice presentation room, in which case the queuer will come get you.
Francisco is asking, could we do jig adjustments at the table? Yeah, Francisco, there's actually a there's time built into that. So the first thing, I guess we can go through it real quick. The first thing we want you guys to do when you come to the table, before anything else, is inspection. That has to be done first. Once you're done with inspection, then we say, okay, your inspection's good. Then you have, quote, by the rules, a few minutes to set up. So during that setup period is when you want to assemble your jigs. You can adjust, whatever you want there. You can ask us to check and make sure that the mats are centered. We do a pretty good job of that. It does slip sometimes, but you're able to ask us to look at any models you want us to look at. But yeah, the jig adjustments. Now, are you talking about doing like launching short runs to adjust your jig, or are you talking about just Just clarify what you're doing there. Just before the run. Yeah, I understand that, but what do you mean by adjust your jig? Do you mean just set it up on the table and do measurements? Because we will
Yeah,
not
to set
allow
up.
you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to set up the table to align it from
Okay.
the wall and into those block markers. Because
Sure.
our
Yeah,
table could be different from our practice to the
correct.
competition table.
The only thing
Just
we
to
will not.
align.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
It's okay.
The only thing we will not allow you to do is to launch test emissions during setup
Okay.
because we do have
Yeah.
to stay on schedule. So, yes, there's time built in to do that couple minutes for setup. You do whatever you want to do other than,
Running.
running
Testing run.
anything. So,
Yeah, understood. Thanks, Jay.
yep. And from Jen, I have to read it because it's in chat. I have to drop for a class, but wanted to put in a plug for our first annual Utter Chaos competition on April 18th. We have spots for 12 Wisconsin teams and 4 neighboring state teams. Info will come out after the championship or before if you can find me at state. So I can share a little bit with this. I'm not going to take up everybody's time, but it's an in-state invitational. So just think about like the out-of-state ones, but this is in-state. We have a couple spots for neighboring states, but this year, the inaugural year, it's going to be mainly in-state teams. So you guys can feel free to get a hold of Jen and get a spot there. Any other questions? Okay.
Very good. Well, we'll call it an evening then. You all know how to reach me. I've got a couple more emails to send you over the next couple days, and then it'll be showtime. So good luck to all you teams, all the kids. All the special requests that came in have been passed on to our judge advisors, which are going to be Brian and Brian. So thank you for sharing all of that. And well, good luck to everybody. See you on Sunday.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Good luck.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you.